On Monday, my guest is the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, Mohammed Abubakar. Now, Commissioner, let's start with the so-called indecent dressing drama in Lagos State. How on earth did it even begin to happen in the first instance? What brought it on?
Well, let me start by thanking you for giving us the opportunity to be here, at least to make explanation on this skimpy or indecent dressing, as so-called. I think what happens actually was we had an information which we worked on, and I look at it as a fight back from the other end. I will just say the other end and leave it that way for other security reasons. We had an information that 99 or some women used girls of tender age from the age of 8, 9, 10 up to 16 for prostitution, child trafficking, and human trafficking. And we worked on it, and we were able to get the women. And I'm sure you must have seen some of them on the TV who are sexually abused, sexually harassed. What we did, we eliminated the younger ones. Under the Children and Young Persons Act, we have a responsibility to do that, to make sure they're not exposed to moral danger. Yeah. The other adults were charged to court. They were sentenced. Some were fined by court. And we arrested these people from brutal houses. And we know the owners of these brutal houses will not just fold their arms. They will fight back. And we look at it as fighting back. That is not to say that there could be the act of overzealous policemen who on their own will think that they can use that opportunity to harass or molest women who dress to their own understanding indecently dressed. There was no time at any given time we have given instruction to anybody, any police officer, under my instruction, that anybody should be arrested for indecent dressing.
It's very worrisome because, I mean, maybe if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't understand exactly. Because, I mean, I've explained the situation before, that we were actually pulled out of our car. 3 professional, almost middle-aged people, one man and his wife in proper jeans and trousers. I've shown the picture of what I was wearing, which was like a maternity gown, you know, and all of that. I don't understand how it can be that they were not given such an order. And all over Lagos State, we now got cases, petitions. There was even a case of a nursing mother who had gone to the junction to buy something for her daughter, you know, and she was arrested because she was wearing an house coat over her nightie. You know, she just went down the road from her place and she had to pay them and all kinds of things. I don't understand how it can happen.
Look at what you're wearing from the picture of what you show me. Any reasonable person will look at it and say,
look, it's here.
From what you're wearing, no reasonable person will look at it and say you're indecently dressed. And no responsible and sensible commissioner of police will give an instruction. Under what law do we have to charge somebody for an indecent dressing?
I mean, how do you then determine?
What we're after people who support criminality, who aid criminals, who hibernate with criminals. Whether you're a man or a woman, if you're involved in these 3 areas I did mention, yes, we'll do. And the instruction given under the stop and search law, anybody can be stopped, he can be asked questions,
yeah.
And when you give satisfactory explanation, you're allowed to go. So it all depends on the discretion of the officer at a particular time, which he could decide to abuse. And that we have taken steps to checkmate. We have made press conferences, we have denied these allegations, and we said if people have evidence and they can give us the names and the places where these officers happen to commit these offenses, we are willing and we are ready to correct that.
So what should you do if this occurs? I mean, somebody else is watching this show and they go out next time and I felt like I was a bit, because I was so shocked. I did not take down the number of the, because usually I would have noted the name.
The name and the number of the individual.
So that
exactly.
I could report that this was the person who did this. So
that's what we expect. That's what we expect Nigerians to do. Every policeman has a name and a number, just like I have on my chest. You can give us the name and the number of the person. Even if you get the name or the number or the particular spot where the incident took place, without the name and the number, we'll go back there and trace it. Because under our own laws, we have somebody A, B, C, D who is posted to a so place. So if you give us the particular place and time, we'll go back there we'll get the men arrested, and we'll investigate to find out actually whether they have done what they have alleged to have.
Okay, so that we put this case to rest finally. So, okay, granted that day I wasn't dressed, skimpily. But I don't have a problem with dressing this so-called skimpily some other time. If I have a party to go to and I decide to wear a spaghetti top to go to a party or a short dress, should a policeman be accosting me for this?
It's a matter of the mind. You have the right to do what you want to do. No policeman has the right to stop you to ask you the way you dressed. What we are after, like I did said, is you are out, whether it is morning, afternoon, or night, we have the right under the law to stop and ask questions. That is, if we have reason to suspect that there's anything that tend to criminality, then we can ask questions. Okay,
what sort of questions? Because I mean, the kind of question the man was asking me was, so why you wear this kind of thing? And I said, I was talking about my friend, this is a married woman, she's a doctor. I said, what's in concern me? If she be married woman, why is she there for road? I said, she's with her husband. What's in concern me? Look, you, husband, make it they want all these useless women, all these prostitutes. That's what the policeman said.
It's uncalled for, and it's not expected of a police officer under any law for him to have made such comments. I've just taken over command 1 month ago. There are problems of attitudinal change that we are working on. We have to work on that attitudes of some of our officers, to bring it in line with civilization, and equally to make sure that what they are expected to do is in accordance to rules and regulations of this country.
I'm going to ask you all these questions so that we get, all the kind of questions that the issues that people are raising out into the air, so I mean, as you said, you've just taken over 1 month ago. I mean, as I said, once I saw you again, I realized that I do know him, and this is a far picture from the picture that people are blaming you. And they are claiming that you must have some kind of agenda. Would you please explain to everybody that this...
I don't have any agenda than to fight crime. My mission and vision in this state is to fight crime, not any particular agenda. How can I come and put an agenda? Under what authority can any police commissioner put an agenda in the state? That is not the governor of the state, neither the governor, not me. None of us have any agenda. Our agenda is simple and straightforward. One, to fight crime and act of criminality. And nothing will deter us and nothing will stop us from doing that.
Right.
We have the responsibility under the Constitution to protect the right of individual where it is abused.
Right.
Even if it is abused by policemen.
Right.
We're supposed to check, we investigate, and punishment will be meted to those who actually abuse the rights of other people.
Right.
So there is no hidden agenda for any reason.
Okay, I'm going to come to the issue of criminality and Lagos State and all that. And I know that your challenge in Lagos is humongous because it is a big city. But talking about the abuse of rights of citizens by policemen, I've actually got a case right here in the studio. A certain young man wrote me a letter of, how he was using a phone in a bank, Granted, he wasn't supposed to use a phone, and if he had been corrected or told not to use the phone, it would have stopped immediately. And he was pulled into some sort of like a guard room and was beaten, and money was extorted from him. I have that email which I can forward to you. He's willing to be identified. He actually has a media job, so it's somebody that can be seen. 2 days ago, one of the relatives of one of our staff here in NTA also was, in fact, he's somewhere around. If he's around, I'd like him to come in so that you see his injuries. He has some kind of altercation with men of the police. I'd like for him to come in, and explain exactly what occurred, because it wasn't as though come in, please, come in. You can sit down.
Yeah, afternoon.
The injuries on him, his face, his head was done. It was by the policeman. What happened exactly? Please.
Someone called me when I turned back to answer the call, so I didn't know that my hand was touched to someone. And I begged someone.
Louder, please.
And I begged the person that, sorry, sir, I didn't know. Before I know it, he used a gun and they hit me. So the other policeman, once saw it, they came to rush to me. They started beating me, and I fallen on the floor. They rushed me inside the bottle and they took me to the station.
Can you identify the policeman who did it? And you know the particular sport?
Yes, sir.
You have a genuine case.
Right.
When we have genuine cases of this nature, if you can allow him to follow me directly to my office, I will take up this case and it will be a shining example to others.
Right. So what you're saying, number one, you do know that these things happen. It's not that I do know that happens. Unless you complain,
No commissioner of police will be in his office and know what is happening on the road. It's practically impossible. But why it happens, I'm not ruling the possibility in any society that are bad eggs. And police not an exception. So if it happens and we have complaints, genuine complaints, well, definitely we'll take them up and punishment are meted
How
out to
should
those.
people complain and who should they complain to?
One, you can complain to the divisional police officers in the police station where it happens, because every divisional officer has his name. You can make follow-up in case that complaint is not taken up very seriously. You can report to my office one-on-one. My office is open 24 hours. Once I'm there, I will see you. And we'll take it up. We have a department we call the Provost Marshal. They investigate, they monitor, and we mete out punishment to deserving policemen based on what they have committed.
All right.
So this is a straightforward. All the cases you have, please send them to me, provided they are willing to come and testify. Because after our investigation, there is a procedure. It's like a court. We put it in an older room trial. You'll be there, you give evidence. The man who is being tried will ask you questions because it might cost him his job. We don't take issues of indiscipline lightly. We take them very, very seriously. And we punished our officers and men for doing what they have done wrong intentionally. Because from what he's saying, he has not caused to be beaten. He has not committed any offense. But we're waiting to see when he comes forward his complaint. We'll get them in and we'll put on a trial.
Okay, that's very important for people. So I'd like to reiterate that we would spread the information around that, I also agree with you that oftentimes we complain amongst ourselves, but we don't formally
follow up.
Also, it could be that people don't know where and how to. And you've explained that to complain to the DPO of the station where it happened or nearest to you.
Or even the public relations officer, you can write to him, you can come to his office. Once we are willing to follow up that case, once you know your right has been infringed upon, please, we want such complaints to come. In every of the police station, including the area commands, we created what we call the Human Rights Desk. The Human Rights Desk is headed by an officer. You can go there and make complaints about abuses of human rights. That's to tell you how serious we have taken about this abuse of human rights.
Well, even I would admit that I'm afraid to walk into a police. The police just seems so unaccommodating. You already have a problem with the police and you're going to report to the police.
For me,
maybe it's a mental thing. I don't know, maybe it's something we have to get.
It's not a mental thing. If we leave things the way they are, who is going to change this country? Ghanaians will not come to change this country. It is you and I and other Nigerians that will have to change this country. But the problem of this country, people don't have respect for the law. People have to respect the law. Once you respect the law will respect you. And the only way you can do it, we have to start from somewhere. We can't leave things to go the way they are. We can't allow everybody to do what he wants to do, whether you're in the police or outside the police.
Right.
We in the service who are making efforts to ensure that those who are there and are doing the wrong things are changed for the better. And those who can't change, they will find their way out of the system.
Right. I know that the Nigerian police is rather, you have your job cut out for you in terms of, very many pockets of, many challenging pockets around the country. There's Port Harcourt with her own kind of problems, in Niger Delta with her own kind of problems. Lagos is peculiar with her own kind of problems of crime, and you're dealing with such a large mass of people. Now, number one, I don't know what the truth is, but it would appear that in the past 1 month or thereabout, the security situation, just before you came in, the security situation in Lagos deteriorated. Everywhere you turned, you had stories of armed robberies, particularly on the island where it never used to happen, and there are some places like Osborne. Nobody dares, if you can, you don't get into the traffic because almost on a weekly basis, people get robbed and all of that. What exactly is the truth of the matter? What are you doing about it?
The truth of the matter is that you say it's alleged. I believe it is alleged that robbery is on the increase. But you must have a yardstick for something. You must have a yardstick for comparing notes.
You know,
most people are...
they've not reported, and then some of these places where they are like restaurants and they don't want their businesses. I've quarreled with the owner of one restaurant over this. So I said, you've got to report, and he said nobody will come to my place. And I said,
yeah, because that is his belief. How do you operate a restaurant without any sense of security? It's only in Nigeria people decide to open businesses, no sense of security at all. You employ your house girl, you employ a driver, you employ a cook, and you don't even know where he's from.
yeah.
You don't do security vetting. He could be a thief, he could be a robber, and you employ him. If I ask you who's your driver, how do you get him? You say, my uncle or my brother or my sister brought him to me.
Yes.
What system did you do to recruit him? Was he vetted? Did you take any security measure to vet him to know where he is from? But let's go back to the issue of robbery. I come back to the issue of robbery. For the last 1 month has not been an increase. It's not a true statement.
But I've had so many. I mean, there must
be complaints of robbery. For me, there must be complaints of robbery. Even in the United States, even in Europe, there are several cases you hear. In South Africa, you can have 1,000 cases of robbery, including murder, including rape, in one day or in 1 hour. What people are talking about, robbery must be an increase. How many number of graduates do we have in this country? Take Lagos, for example. Everybody is coming to Lagos thinking that there is money on the street in Lagos. From the north, from the south, even from the southwest. People believe that when you come to Lagos, you pick money on the street. And when you come here, you don't find the money on the street. You start thinking of what to do. And the idea will come to him, the only way out, I can't go back and tell him there is no money, I must make money here. He'll go into crime. 2, there are challenges. High level of poverty in the country, unemployment, the widening gap between the haves and haves not. Then look at the other challenges of the police. Lack of tools and equipment, vehicles, walkie-talkies, motivation and even welfare of the officers admin. Let me give you an example of one of the cases of robbery. Motor Road in Sofitel Hotel in Ikoyi. They reported a case of robbery. The only police station in Ikoyi is Ikoyi police station. And you know how large and big. And you know who lives in Ikoyi. Yeah. Only one police station.
I've always thought that was...
Let's look at the population of Ikoyi. You can put it, let's say, 1 million, just 1 million. And you have one police station. That's
even grossly understating it if it's 1 million.
I'm just taking it to make a major, to create a scenario. And with only one police patrol vehicle. There was robbery. The first robbery, the men and materials are ready. They jump into the car to go and answer a distress call. 30 minutes, 1 hour in between, there is the second distress call. Who goes? Nobody goes. And the same Ikoyi police station, I can remember 9 years ago when I was Deputy Commissioner of Police in Lagos. A friend of mine who was attacked by robbers upstairs, he has a duplex upstairs, and he called the police station and asked them to come and rescue him. And the sergeant there said, yes sir, but we are very sorry sir, please can you send your driver to come and pick us? The story is, there is a vehicle, but the vehicle is grounded. So he can't go. So we have to work with the equipment we have on ground. But I tell you, for the last 1 month, the situation has improved. You are aware of the fact that for the last 1 month, the same Law School Junction to Mobile, to ShopRite, to Lekki Phase 1, up to Jakande Estate. That is the third roundabout, or where you call it Chicken Republic, down to Aja and the Ekwe and the rest of it. 1 month ago, it was robbery between the hours of 6 to
so
10
right after all that,
I say it was, but now it's history.
Well, that's only in the last 1 month, and I'm not sure if it's history.
It's history. Why I say the history? Where you have cases of 15 robberies in a day, and it's now either reduced to 1 or nothing. Of course it's history. Crime, You can't exterminate crime in totality. There is no way, no country of the world does that. If you exterminate crime, then there is total paralysis, which means everything has stopped moving. Yeah. And it's not possible for everything to stop moving. And when you come back, you are talking about Third Mainland Bridge. It was robbery. You can have like 10, 20 robberies on that road. One, the contributory factor to that, in Victoria Island, on that road, you're talking of the roads, because they are bad.
Yeah.
They are under construction. So the traffic hold-up create an avenue for them, and they come to sell what? Recharge cards. One hand with recharge card, the other hand with a pistol. You open your door. But that is history. Even on the Third Mainland, that is history. When you go to these areas, you see physical and visibility of police officers with vehicles on that road.
Okay,
in the last, to checkmate these incidences. And don't forget, what is happening in the Niger Delta is having an effect back on Lagos. Because most of the expatriates are now running back to Lagos. And when they run back to Lagos, you know their places: Ikoyi, Victoria Island, Apapa, mostly.
Right. What I'm going to take a break, Commissioner. Question that I need to ask. You know, I can tell. Yes, it is true that there's a lot of improvement. I would agree with you that there's a lot more police presence, and it would seem that particularly with robberies in traffic and all of that, you hear less unofficial reports. I will admit to you that Nigerians don't seem, Lagosians don't report these things. You know, so it would appear, well, when we sit down, we talk amongst ourselves, they have a lot of stories, but nobody knows what the hard facts are. The question I need to answer is, the Nigerian police force, Lagos, is she equipped to handle the responsibilities of crime fighting in Lagos? If she's not, what will it take for her to get there? Because you have spoken about something that's very important. With the expatriates coming back into Lagos, some of the challenges from that place will come with them. Added to all the challenges that there already are in Lagos, you have a tough job, Commissioner. The women's panel, and finally the women are here. And incidentally, today we got the women we usually don't get. That's only because they want to get their teeth into this conversation. And I'll start with the lady on my extreme right-hand side. She said right beside the commissioner there. We haven't seen Miss Susan and your honesty in a while. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning for me.
How are you?
Very well this morning, as well as you are.
Oh, don't talk about my colorful ensemble. You know, I said today it's about dressing, and I will dress the part.
Oh, yeah, and you all dress the part.
Dress the part. So this is as close to police uniform as I can. Got Emmy to go find me something. Right. Nkechi Obi is also here. MD Premium Sport. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning for me. You said that with like tongue in cheek.
I'm not going to go there.
So it's tongue in cheek. It's a pleasure to be here anyway, regardless.
And of course, you know the commissioner.
Yes.
Right. Before you ladies came in, we had already discussed the vexatious issue of the so-called indecent dress arrest, and the commissioner has stated categorically that the police at no time gave a go-ahead for it, and the Lagos State government also did not give a go-ahead for it. Apparently, somewhere along the line, there was a confusion of rules or information, or perhaps it didn't really want to say, it didn't say so, but perhaps alluded to it, that there might be some fight back from the people they are trying to stop anyway. And he has said that anybody who is accosted, no matter what they wear publicly, you know, in such a manner, should get the number and the names of the policemen concerned and report to the police, you know, and they'll take it up from there. What they are looking at are people who are, you know, perhaps using people, trafficking people, and also doing some form of crime. We have moved on to the issue of crime prevention, and
just you know, as an aside, you know, if it will probably buttress what the commissioner says, that some people probably have an agenda and they're the ones pushing it. I just see it as another avenue for the feminization of crime. That everything that is bad
has to be female.
Is female. Because I haven't really heard that they arrested any Jerry-curled head young men, but they've arrested a few.
Or any rough-packing young men. But old men as
exactly. But they kind of picked up some most women. So I see it as, you know, one more time, you know, putting a feminine face on crime, which is very sad, really.
Okay, from apart from that, I also have a thing to say to the commissioner too, as regards if a rumor starts, I think the police are not supposed to jump on the rumor and start operating based on that. Because, I mean, like you said earlier, you addressed the way you felt comfortable in, and some people thought they'd read somewhere or they
Actually,
somewhere.
for one of the few times when I was actually covered from top to toe, I'm so proud it was one of those times. Just to show you that there was no cause. You understand? It doesn't matter, because I know that some people are using it to propagate their own particular personal agenda and saying, oh, so some people are dressed. So it doesn't matter what you wear.
Yeah, what I'm simply saying is that the police should not be seen as being the one to escalate the rumor. Yeah, they heard people saying, oh, this is what, I mean, there should be some kind of education, there should be some kind of way of passing information to them and making them realize that this has nothing to do with us. Don't get involved in it. So in a case where several cases have been reported of people being victims, then there's a problem with disseminating information within the force itself, which I think should be addressed.
Commissioner,
that we have done. I remember after I spoke to you, we did call an emergency meeting about officers and men and take it very seriously that we are not going to allow anybody to spoil the good job we have started in Lagos State, including our own officers and men, because we know that the possibility of anybody being overzealous to do something that obviously is not sent to do, and that we're checkmating very. But it will go a long way if we have people complaining. Right. It was done to me at so sport on so date. Right. And we take it up from there and show example to others. And we'll make it public that ABCD did so, and this is the punishment he got for
right. I wanted to state, I mean, because now that Commissioner mentioned it, I realized that, that we shouldn't wait until things happen to people who are notable before it becomes an issue. Because it was when it happened to, I'm thankful that I actually started speaking about it before it actually happened to me. And then I blogged about it. We got people online to start talking. We started sending petitions, so forth. But if it hadn't happened to me, it would have been one of those cases where you victimize little people, especially women.
So, for me, I agree with you totally that you shouldn't wait until it happens to a quote-unquote big person before you speak. But you also know, anywhere in the world, is when it does happen to a big person that people take notice. Exactly. So sometimes we need it to happen to a big person so that, so I'm happy it happened to you.
All right, moving on quickly. I mean, back to that issue, because the Commissioner has been explaining in the number one that perhaps yes, the security situation, armed robberies and all of that in Lagos, it was on a higher level until recently that they are doing something about it. He mentioned the fact, I'd always wondered about that. There's only one police station in Ikoyi, and how do you expect them to do their job efficiently and all of that? I went on a break asking if it is indeed true that the Nigerian police can handle crime effectively. We're not asking for total extermination of crime. That's not doable anywhere. But is it true? How much crime control are you capable of given the resources that you have?
Honestly speaking, officers and men of the Nigeria police can't control crime in this country.
Oh, you said that
but okay, there's a proviso. The proviso is giving the nitty and gritty of logistics that is required in fighting crime, in policing, in safety matters. Let me give you an example. If most time our officers and men go abroad on foreign mission, together with officers from the United States, Britain, France, and even other countries of the world, they are rated best. One, this is a place where a constable or a sergeant will have a helicopter to take him on patrol, to see things, and it will hover down. You see the area view. He will see criminals. He will identify the places where he's going to operate. He's back to his country. He's being demoralized. Because when he comes back here, he doesn't have a bicycle, not talk of a machine or not talk of a car, a patrol vehicle, not talk of a helicopter. So that is the comparing notes. You can say, so if you give them the best, obviously they will fight crime. With the little we have, I have given you an example of Ikoyi police station. Only one police station. Forget about the police station now. Let us look at the logistics that are supposed to be there. In an ideal situation, we're supposed to have eight vehicles, but we have one. One pickup to do patrol in the morning, same in the afternoon, same in the night, and probably with 50 liters of fuel. So you have a problem. Besides that, you need walkie-talkies. While the patrol is on, you need a walkie-talkie to call the man and say, we have a distress call or a problem at number so, Gerard or Bodlon or Ademi Lawson or Queen's Drive. You don't have the radio to call him. He doesn't have a radio for you to call you. You go to the last option. Please, do you have a mobile phone? His personalized mobile phone. And you now beg him. You use your own personal mobile phone to call him to give him information about that. The same patrol vehicle they are going to use, probably the first distress call where they went to, there are casualties. If the same police will take the casualty to the hospital, he can abandon the casualty to go and attend to the other one. And this is not only Ikoyi police station. If you go to Ogba, I have about 5, 6, 8 police stations.
I mean, if it's that bad in Ikoyi, you can imagine what people have been going through in Ketu.
In Ogba, you have police stations where they don't even have one single patrol vehicle. What do you do in such circumstances? Somebody come to the police station and say, robbery is going on in so place. There is no vehicle. Let us go, sir. And the man look at them and said, are we going on foot? Of course, we don't have a patrol vehicle.
Okay, so let's now take it. Is it? Let me put.
What I'm saying is
let me put you on the spot.
Right.
You know, just let us have an idea what could have caused such a degradation in the provision of infrastructure for the police, which has the primary responsibility of securing your life and my life.
Should that question come to me?
No, I'm just saying. I said I want to put you on the spot.
That's why I said, should that question come to me?
Exactly, you know.
Well, you look at the question the way you prove it. So that question come to me. I'm a public servant. I'm supposed to be given equipment to work.
And
once you give me the equipment, I will work. And I'm working with what I have as of now. The only one thing give me hope. And this is it. One, the president has made security one of his priority areas. And I'm taking him seriously that something is going to be done about the security of this country. The Inspector General of Police, who is a career policeman, a professional who knows what security is all about. He was.
Who was in Lagos?
I was his deputy when he was in Lagos.
Right.
He listens and he wants opinions of other senior officers so that to be able to move the force forward and so that he can provide security and safety for the citizens of this country. Thirdly, the governor of Lagos State, who is a willing partner in fighting crime. Just a few weeks ago, we had a meeting with MDs of bank and corporate bodies at Civic Center in Victoria Island, trying to do a police-public partnership and getting equipment for the Nigeria police, particularly Lagos State, so that we can be able to fight crime in this state. And it has started yielding result. If you go around, you see in Victoria Island, we have about 10, 15 new vehicles being placed in particularly
But can they extend it beyond Victoria Island?
It's going to go everywhere.
We don't all get to do that.
It's going to go everywhere.
One of the reasons why I was really glad that you were sitting here is because I had a very bad experience a few months ago. I lost my car. And I don't want to remember the experience I went, having to go to the police station to report, and the way they killed my morale. And I just told myself that I shouldn't have even bought that. Do you understand? I had a situation where my car was taken from my house. I mean, I'm not a detective, but everything pointed to the fact that this was an in-house robbery. People suspected were picked up. And by the time I went back, they were singing another song. It was like, I was more or less forced to have to allow those people to go because I don't have any evidence to prove that they took this car. And I could see from the face of the people I suspected that you are wasting your time. It was like as if money. I'm not saying, but that's the way it looked to me. And I just said to myself, "What the heck did I come here to do?" And I walked, and I said to myself, I mean, I even have a medium to voice my plight. Some other person.
But were you able to prove the fact that these people?
I mean, I don't know. Everything was said to me.
Not on me.
Commissioner, everything they said to me, they were going to do if I allowed those guys go on bail. They never did. One day, they told me, oh, let them go. We'll send some police people to come. I mean, that's what they said. That each time I went to the police, I had to bring them in my car, even though I had to pay for.
Because the cars are not there.
I agree, but I still have to pay for transport to bring them there. I'm being honest with you. I'm paying because, I mean, it simply tells me that I don't have any reason. Let me just take what comes. That's the way it looks. I mean, let me take what comes to me and I just move on. Because that's the point. Accept it and move on. That's what it looks like.
You're accepting something that is not yours.
I'm not saying to you that I had gone there with the belief that I was going to get justice. I knew obviously something happened. And I kept hearing them saying, oh, by the time maybe one or two relative from the other person came, one person came, all I knew was that even when someone was a suspect, that I could say, oh, this was the first suspect, they didn't even take him. They said, oh, they couldn't because the other person could say that he's his brother. So I have to allow the guy go. And I just said to myself, why waste my time? I spent so much money going to and fro, bringing them and taking them back. And then at the end of the day, these people walked away. And then, when you're saying they have to let them go on bail, I couldn't fight that. Okay. There was no way for me to get them to even say, oh, fulfill what you said. I'll come and put surveillance there. Even if you have to come and pick me up. Not one day.
But a lot has been said about the capacity or lack of it of the police to deal with many things. Because, I mean, you said something earlier, and I say it's true to a large extent that the Nigerian police is not sacrosanct. You know,
they can't exist outside of the system.
But we are wanting to build a better nation, and I'd like to know in what areas, because also I want to be believing, and I believe the new government's determination to do something about security. But it must be noted that the last two IGs had issues with funds and what was done with funds for the police. So beyond funds, fund of course is needed to buy equipment, to train, to do all of that. But beyond all of that, what would total overhaul or improvement of the police look like? What needs to be done for the police, and in what way can we as people, and also help to bring about these changes? Because security is key.
Yeah, I agree with you. Beside equipment, but equipment is very, very important. The next important one is welfare and motivation. Hitler in one of his books says, soldier marches on his stomach. If the stomach is empty, you can do nothing. Welfare, that has to do with salaries, that has to do with condition of service in terms of accommodation, in terms of not only just residential accommodation, including office accommodation. It's very, very important. For example, people donate vehicles. They will tell you, yes, Lagos State government gave 20 vehicles or 90 vehicles. You get vehicles. Vehicles need to be maintained.
Yeah.
Vehicle needs to be foiled. We foil the vehicle every day.
So is it time for the police fund?
It's already on. It's already on. What we're asking now, corporate bodies, individuals can contribute in buying vehicles, buying walkie-talkies to the police. Even if you start from your immediate community where you live, a communal life where you stay, you can buy a vehicle. It will be dedicated to that particular community to service the community and do patrols and police that particular community. This is what we are saying.
Even in a centralized police force.
Exactly. You can buy a vehicle and donate for that Yaba and say, and donate. You can put any inscription you want. Donated by social community, and it will be dedicated to that particular community. Nobody will take it out of that community. That's what we want to bring in, so that we can be closer to the people, and what you bought will be used to service you.
All right. I mean, it's also occurs to me that sometimes also, I mean, I'm thinking of my neighborhood, for example. I don't know who the...
It's going to that matter. All of you are sitting down. If I ask you five houses from your main house and 5 houses from the left and the right of your house, who lives in there? You don't know who lives in there. Surely you don't. You could live with criminals. You could live with armed robbers. Most of these houses, they stay all day. They are sleeping.
Yeah. Okay, Commissioner, can I just quickly, before I forget that, if you find a situation like that and you go to the police station to report and nothing gets done, because I'm telling you, I live in a neighborhood where I I know I have characters like that.
Please
and
come,
the
please
police
come to
have
me.
come there and they've seen, this thing to also build the morale in the people to be able to come out and make such.
I agree with you.
And they've come and had an experience. I have a neighborhood. I can tell you that this, they have funny people there. They themselves were telling me, they told me that I should just stay away from them so that I will not become a victim again.
No. Let me tell you the story here. You see, people, it's brothers all information. Anybody will tell you if I give you information, the police, it goes back to the criminal. Yes, the possibility is there, but it depends on who you give the information and how you give the information. You can't see a constable or just an officer walking on the street and say, "Come, this house there are robbers. I go on my own." This is not what we're saying. What we're saying, in your area now, there's a division, there's a police station. Walk to the police station, meet the divisional police officer who has his name and integrity. One-on-one, pass that information to him. If there's any fallout of that information, you get to my office and report that there's a punishment that will be meted for the officer, which might even cost him his job. Except we start from somewhere doing this. Members of the Nigeria police are Nigerians for me. If today we sack everybody in the Nigeria police, who are we going to take? Not Ghanaians, not South Africans. We are going to take the same Nigerians with the same caricature of behavior, mannerism, and behavior pattern.
All right,
so the only thing we can do is to help ourselves and start somewhere and build confidence in the police. And equally, we in the system do our very best to fix the bad ones. Change those who can change, those who cannot change, show them the way out.
All right, I'm going to take a short break. When we come back from the break, I'm going to round up this conversation. I mean, we've had him here for a while, and I want to say that, I came here ready to do battle in my pseudo police. I
didn't even know it was the police commissioner you had.
But now that I'm a big I'm aware of the problems more. I've always been aware of the problems. What I'd like to be able to emphasize is what we can do. Actually, to also pressure from the top that security is, as has already been said, actually top priority, in going forward for Nigeria. As the police had some great, some triumphs that you would like to share with us.
Yes, with you. But even let's go back to sporting world. We're into sports. We have done in sports.
We all claim
we are not claiming. We have every right. We brought Chioma, we recruited her into the police, we trained her, and she became. Well, she is Sunday Bada is there, Babatunde Jonathan is there. So many of them, which you do know. And unfortunately, somebody asked me a question, why are we not doing anything about sports now? I said, well, you have to look at crime and sports. Those days, the crime in the country was very low. Now the challenges are becoming bigger and greater because of the dynamism of the society. So we cannot abandon crime and go to sports. But that doesn't mean that we're not into sports. We're still into sports.
Because those were great days. And I saw the example of Nigerian police woman when somebody tried to rob Chioma in Kenya. And not only did she catch the boy and sound him as we say, I said, you are dealing with the Nigerian police woman. Now, what can people do to help put this in the front burner? I mean, this is not just to the commissioner, but also, what do you think we can do? Is it a good thing that is happening to big men? So to say, in terms of what can we do to put in the?
It's. I don't want to say good. I had to use the word good for something that's bad, but it brings it to the fore that if it can happen to a big man, then
it must have happened to others.
So the big men will not take it because they have a lot more to protect. So in a way, that is the good of it. But I would like to say that I'd like to see the police fund, a little bit stronger, the police community relations program a little bit further, because I'm a strong believer that you must contribute to your community. And your community is not just you in your house. Your community, if you're a bank, is that everybody in your neighborhood. Your community, if you're in the fast moving, any company, any corporate organization, to protect that which you have invested, you must ensure that the wherewithal to protect it. So I guess I'm very PPP minded as far as a lot of things, and we can't run away from it. The police does need help, and they need help from us. We can't continue to expect them to be more than we are, whereas they're from the same system that we come from. So I'd like to see the police fund actually, take priority now, and a lot more people who are contributing to all kinds of things contribute to that. That is so key. Increase their salaries.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really expect somebody to protect you when he's earning 10,000 or 50,000 naira. What is that? Compared to what you require.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
I also think, I'm actually glad that he said that the corporate bodies too are getting involved in having to improve the state of the Nigerian police force, as it were, perhaps starting from Lagos State, as he rightly said. Because I also think that they should think that a philanthropic thing that they're doing to safeguard lives may not be theirs. It might be someone who is a close friend to them. I'm just saying, they might say it's not there, so they don't care. But whoever it is, might be someone who's related to them.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So at least those little things that they consider irrelevant is important to the police force. Walkie-talkie, they might think, how much, but it's important to them. It might just be that one call that would save lives. So I applaud the fact that the corporate bodies, and I hope some of them are listening right now and they're taking it serious to be a partner with the Nigerian police force to help see a better Nigerian police force.
Commissioner, what can we do to help you?
You have said it all. It's a public partnership with the police. And I'm happy the government of Lagos State have started that. And I'm sure we're going to succeed. We're getting close to 300 million the first day we launched it. And about 30 Hilux vehicles. And I know that there are very many corporate bodies, there are assurances from other banks that we get their support.
Let me suggest you get a very aggressive marketer.
Who's not going to let them sleep?
I will require you to the governor.
Only you will come up with something like, let's do this thing. And it just shows everybody's inclination. I'm also thinking, I want to position him as super cop. Because somebody was saying it recently, most of what we know around the world of everywhere is not for what you learned in secondary school or even in the classroom. It's popular culture, the media, how we position ourselves. If you make the police look better, people will begin to believe. And actually to show people that they personalize when somebody misbehaves in the police, it's not the Nigerian police, that particular policeman, and you gotta nail him. Let's nail the bad policeman and try and build the police force. I think that might work on the long run.
Yeah, it has to do with upbringing. In the police, you have what you call the rigid discipline, or in the army. But self-discipline is what matters. When I look at people when we behave, I say, okay, probably that's the home training, not necessarily the service what he represents. So it goes a long way. And we are doing everything humanly possible on attitudinal change to make sure that those that are good continue to be good. The bad ones that we can change, we'll change them.